Good morning, friends. Myself, Dr. Nidhi Darbari, on My Education Treasure. Today, in my present video, I am going to deal about making classroom communication effective and barriers in the communication process in recognizing attending behavior skill of micro teaching. Making classroom communication effective. To make the communication effective, the teacher should keep in mind the following points. Selection and presentation of the content. While selecting the content, it is very essential for the teacher to identify the target group, their age, mental ability, social background, etc. Teacher should plan and present the content systematically so that it can be grasped easily by the students. If the content is not properly planned and presented in the class, then no communication can take place in the classroom. Certain topics are repeated in the class, but the teacher cannot teach in the same way. He has to decide upon the difficulty level of content and teach accordingly. The next point is importance of action rather than thoughts. The aspect of how the content can be delivered has immense importance. If the thoughts and message is very good but it is unable to reach the students, then communication is not possible. The teacher, after thorough preparation of the content, should pay attention towards how it is going to reach the students in the class. The next point is selection of medium. Selection of the content and its proper presentation to the students in the class depends upon the medium through which it will reach the target group. In the classroom, teacher can use various mediums apart from verbal and non-verbal like technological aids to deliver the subject matter effectively. Time management. Teacher's skills come into focus when he has to deliver the content in the stipulated time. Students perceive the content in such a way that no part of the content is left behind, or teacher should not wrap up the presentation in order to finish it in time and in the process ignore certain important points. Effective communication depends upon the time management adopted by the teacher. The next point is consistency. The delivery of the content by the teacher in the classroom should be consistent and the statements which are confusing should be avoided. Teacher should not deviate from the content and have control over the presentation of content, otherwise irrelevant topic may become prominent and relevant may become sidelined. In this situation, students get confused in selecting the relevant content. The next point is adequacy. The teacher should have mastery over the selection of size of content so that it should fit in the stipulated time and come to its logical conclusion at the end of the discussion. A lengthy content may not be suitable for lower classes students, and short content may create boredom and fatigue for the students of higher classes. Continuity is the next point. Communication is a continuous process, therefore, continuity has to be maintained in style and art of delivering the content in the classroom. Once the content is delivered and the process is complete, the responsibility of the teacher still continues. Feedback. The common scene in the classroom is the teacher delivering the content orally to the student, who in turn seems to listen to the teacher. But this process of communication becomes complete only when there is feedback from the students to the teacher. Feedback is equally important in the transaction of content in the classroom. The teacher should also be keen observer, and from the facial expressions of the students, he should be able to comprehend whether they understood the content or not. Courtesy. The language and tone adopted by the teacher in delivering the content in the class should be courteous. The teacher should be careful while speaking in the classroom. Mutual cooperation. There should be mutual cooperation in the class between the teacher and students, and also among the students themselves during the teaching learning process. Barriers in the communication process. In the communication process, there is exchange of views, experience, opinion between the teacher and the students. The barrier may be physical barrier, semantic barrier, mechanical barrier, and cultural barrier. Some common barriers are inability of the teacher. Sometimes the teacher does not have the ability and so he cannot do the job properly. The teacher wrong understanding of the message leads to not understanding of the message by the student. Nature of teaching. The message which has to be sent to the student has to reach him in its correct form. If there are defects in the message and the student is unable to get the meaning to the message, then the communication process cannot be completed and the message becomes barrier in communication. Nature of media. Teacher has to carefully select the media to send the message to the receiver. Any discrepancy in the media may lead to wrong understanding of the message. For example, a chart of amoeba is shown to the students may be correct, but may still develop wrong understanding about the size of amoeba, so a detailed explanation regarding its size should be accompanied. The next point is medium of message. Proper medium according to the nature of message, for example, size of message, distance between the teacher and the student, intensity of the message, nature of message, etc. has to be selected to communicate the message effectively. Language problem. When a written message has to be communicated, then its wording, structural sentence, language, etc. has importance. Language has to be properly understood by the student, and if they are unable to understand the message, then the message cannot be comprehended properly. The next point is physical discomfort. Physical facilities like the general environment, seating arrangement, outside disturbance, the congested conditions, etc. play a very important role in the communication process. Time management. There should be a good time management in giving the message. If the message is not completed in the given time, then the communication process will remain incomplete and it becomes difficult for the students to connect the incomplete point in the next period. The teacher should divide the content in such a way that at least one single point should be covered in one period. If you found the video to be informative and interesting, I request you all to please give a like to my video to motivate me, share it with others and subscribe it so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get a notification. The next point is geographical distance. If the geographical distance between the teacher and the student is too long, then the distance may create barrier. There may be some doubts of the students regarding the message which may not get cleared in time. Comprehensive level of the student. If the student is not ready to comprehend because of his inability, then communication process may not be completed. Verbalism. If the message is too lengthy, then student may get confused and will be unable to understand the message. Large number of students. When oral message has to be given and the number of students is too large, the message may not be heard properly by the student, then the teacher not seen by the student, resulting in not paying attention towards the teacher, thus can also become barrier in the communication process. Generation gap. It is not necessary that the age of the teacher and the student may be same. There may be huge differences between the teacher and the student which affects the views or opinions of both. Thank you very much for patiently watching the video and don't forget to subscribe.